Hi there, this is Group 8 with me, Eric Murray, Connor Brophy, and Matthew Babner. Today we'll be discussing the Catholic Church's teaching on alcohol abuse. In today's stress-filled society, many people look for ways of relieving stress. Some people play sports, listen to music, and do other hobbies. However, some people use alcohol as their escape from their problems and reality. Alcoholism doesn't discriminate. Male or female, rich or poor, black or white, it doesn't matter. An alcoholic can be seen living on the streets or living in a mansion. A drink every now and then isn't bad, but once someone starts becoming dependent on alcohol, the problem has already begun. By abusing alcohol, the person is not only damaging their own health, but also the lives of those around them. All aspects of the alcoholic's life will be hurt, such as their job, their friendships, their family life, and most importantly, their relationship with God. Although one might try to justify their actions by saying, "Well, I'm not driving drunk home," they still lose control of their actions and may cause his or herself or someone around them to get hurt or even worse, killed. Recovery from alcoholism is a long, difficult journey, but with the continued help and support of family, friends, and God, it is made much easier. I will now let Connor Brophy discuss the Church's teaching on alcohol abuse.
Thanks, Eric. As Catholics, we believe that alcohol is acceptable only in moderation. Alcohol was the main drink in biblical times due to its resistance to bacteria and contaminants. Problems only arise with alcohol when we drink in excess or drink only to get drunk. When this happens, we're not only disrespecting God and ourselves, we also disregard the virtue of temperance and commit the deadly sin of gluttony. These aspects are clearly outlined in the Catechism of the Catholic Church. Numbers 2290 says, "The virtue of temperance disposes us to avoid every kind of excess, the use of food, alcohol, tobacco, or medicine. Those incur grave guilt who, by drunkenness or love of speed, endanger their own and others' safety on the road, at sea, or in the air." 2291 says, "The use of drugs inflicts a very grave damage on human life and their health. Their use, except strictly on therapeutic grounds, is a grave offense. Clandestine production of and trafficking of drugs is a scandalous practice. They constitute direct cooperation in evil, since they encourage people to practice gravely contrary to the moral law. When we drink in excess, we put our lives and the lives of everyone around us in danger. Drunkenness opens the door to hundreds of ways to build upon sin. Be it drunk driving or caring for minors while intoxicated, drunkenness can only lead to more sin. We must respect the dignity of all human life and be responsible with alcohol." We're now going to go over to Matt Babner with a contemporary example.
The problem of drinking that is rooted in the fifth commandment is what you do when you're drunk. It's not getting intoxicated per se. That's a violation of the virtue of temperance. But when you're drunk, anything could happen. You could do anything. You could be walking down the street and get yourself killed or kill others. One of the biggest problems is drunk driving. Drunk driving is among the leaders in death of people all ages, all across America and really all over the world. Already, just in 2010, there have been just under 3,000 deaths due to alcohol-related incidents on the road, and the number is just increasing. It's ridiculous. In 2008, 37% of fatalities in America were alcohol-related, and in that same year, 578 of Pennsylvania's 1,468 deaths were also accredited to alcohol. And Pennsylvania was fourth out of all 50 states. We were fourth. Texas had 1,269 of its 3,382 deaths accredited to alcohol. Every 2 minutes, that's 2 minutes. In the time of this video, that's almost 3 people hurt by alcohol in America. And all across, there's been, just between Texas and Pennsylvania, there's been close to 2,000 deaths just based off alcohol. That's it. If alcohol was cut out, there'd be 2,000 more people alive today. I have right here an article from Oregon. It was dated January 26, 2009. The headline reads, "Oregon man charged in drunk driving accident that killed 4, including 2 children. His name was Matthew Elmers, and he was 24. He's a 24-year-old serving countless years in jail for killing two children. He has to go around with all that on his conscience just for one night of alcohol. His blood alcohol limit was 0.21%, and he was traveling down the road when he ran a red light, and he hit a Toyota Highlander with 5 people inside. Among them was a girl named Heather, who was 36, she was the driver and she was killed. Her passenger was a girl named Connie. She was 34 and she was killed. And 2 of her children, Jazza and Nima. Jazza was 10 and Nima was 11, and they were both killed. And her son, Jacoba, was 10 and he was seriously injured. He had brain injury, broken bones, and internal injuries, all because Matthew had to get drunk that night. He was charged with first-degree manslaughter and second-degree assault, and driving under the influence. About 45% of all traffic fatalities are alcohol-related. That's 45% of all injuries that could be stopped if we just stopped drinking. It's 45% of deaths prevented right there. That's more than any wars, anything like that. That's all we have to say today about alcohol. It's a violation of the 5th commandment and the virtue of temperance. So we all advise that you stop drinking and stop driving.
Thank you.